needlessly out on the streets, sometimes dying, precious souls out there. People not willing to be criminals, right? And it's hard enough. Have you heard the stories out there? How this guy got busted 40 times for just being assaulting people, and these two women were on Dr. Phil recently talking about it. Disgusting. The guy can't get himself locked up. I mean, you think you're not trying to get locked up when you've been busted that many times and you keep on letting him out? The guy at least deserved to be in a nut house. Talk about weak links in society. This is what America's come to. So how bad? What does he have to do? Does he have to rape someone, beat him? What does he have to do? What does he have to do to get himself locked up now? So we got all these precious souls out there on the streets in America. And well, we're working on it. We're working. Well, you understand? But it's to fix the problem. You know how many jobs would go by the wayside? If you couldn't point to some guy in soiled clothing, wandering under a bridge with his tail between his legs, and that wasn't the fire under your butt, you better pay that ever higher rent. You better pay that higher mortgage. You better pay those higher prices. Or else, that's you. Once you can't cut the mustard no more, boom, you're out of here. And unless you're willing to commit some heinous crime, you're going to stay out there. Your immune system's going to break down. You're going to lose your will to live because it's so miserable. You're so miserable and beaten down and neglected worse than an animal that you give up. You will yourself dead. That's the answer. That's what the vibe, the spirit of this world is. So vile, so evil. Read your Bible, man. This world's filled, rife with evil. Evil's been running the show on this planet for thousands of years, and its time is almost up. Thank God. Thank God that's the time I live. I know it's coming. I don't know when. All I know is it's time. The Father's going to put his foot down, and when he does, everybody's going to know, like Scripture says. Every tongue shall confess. Every knee shall bow. Even the demons believe and tremble. That's what's about to come down. So get ready. Get ready. I want you to be on the right side of history, my friend. And just know damn good and well what's going on here. And how you can hitch yourself to their wagon, and you pick the wrong wagon. To say, I want this to succeed. I want the status quo. I want the state of affairs to succeed because it's working well for me. I don't want to live in a world without any form of money because that's what's coming. That's what you need to ready your heart, your mind for. Okay? A world without any form of money. Money is not a creation of God. It's an invention of evil men to take advantage of what in their sick, twisted, perverted minds are lesser men. Lesser men doing jobs that are vital, essential to the welfare society. Sick. And they're the ones paying the taxes. And then we call it creeping socialism. Is that, I don't know, what is socialism? Who the hell knows? I don't know. I'm confused. Forgive me. And capitalism, I happen to know a little about capitalism as well as I do about real estate. And I can tell you one thing, it involves supply and demand. And that's not at all what we've got. You see prices soaring. You go to the hardware store one day, it's $100 for this tool. You go back and it's $179 for, and you don't even get the battery with the tool. It's like, holy crap! That means it just doubled. Oh, Biden's wonderful. Yeah, we're going to embargo Russian oil and, say, no dice, you're picking on the Ukrainians. We don't know the whole story because they've done a blackout on Russia, right? We don't know what the hell's going on over there. I'm on everybody's side. I'm for the Ukrainians, by the way. And I'm for the Russians. I think these mothers got to start putting their feet down. No, you're not going to war, son. No, I don't believe in this cause. And you listen to your mama. You listen to your mama over there in the Ukraine and in Russia. Listen to your mother knows best. No more limbs being blown off. No more brains being blown out. No more innocent children, women being killed. None of that. No, stop it. What do you do if you're God, you got 8 billion children? You understand? You can get into the mind of God so easily that we're all without excuse. A little child can understand that. You want the best for all your children. You got 8 billion of them. You want them to act violently toward each other? Of course not. But at some point, you understand you got to put your foot down as a parent. It's an obligation. That's what God's about to do. I don't know when. I mean, maybe that's, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not going to happen on my timetable. I got to let it go, let God, like they say. I mean, that's the most important thing. But it's going to hit the fan. This cost of living inflation, man, this is currency debasement. This is the scam. This is how it works. It always hurts the people at the bottom rungs of the ladder who are desperately trying to scramble their way out of the sand pit while these people keep dumping more in, and that's how they do it, raising the cost of living. And then they say, oh, look, it's minimum wage. They're the ones causing inflation, those greedy minimum wage workers, damn it. Can't we do something to keep them down more? Make damn sure they don't try to get up, that they're paying rent on some apartment in perpetuity. They're born to be rent slaves and getting some little subsidy from the government if they can't pay their electricity or something, or they can't buy enough food. They could go to food banks now, and they could go get food stamps or some damn thing. I don't know, beg, borrow, steal from around, whatever. But I just want my rent. And the lender say, I just want my mortgage. I just want this, I just want that. And this chain reaction inflation, chain reaction currency debasement. And the mainstream media tell it's good. Your housing values went up. They don't say, for another guy, your burden, your cost, your housing price has gone up. So sorry for you. That's a bad thing for you, isn't it? That's the majority of California residents. Do they tell you that? Oh, no, it's all about how it's good. Housing values, it's good. You got equity, and it's good for business. You go out there and you go buy a new car on your equity, get your second, third mortgage, whatever. See, when I was a kid, I mean, the idea of ever getting a second mortgage, no. In fact, you probably just want to save up and just pay cash. Pay $8,000 for that middle-class suburban house in your town and be done with it, right? You could save up $8,000 even at $1 an hour, what minimum wage was in the early 60s, right? Your rent was, $25, $35. Gasoline was, pennies, less than 20 cents. But, it's fair. I mean, I don't know exactly, I can't remember exactly what gas prices were, but I remember even in 2001 after 9/11, prices were as low as 89 cents a gallon in California. Yeah, I remember distinctly. That stuck in my head. But I remember in the 70s when gas was like 29 cents a gallon, in the mid-70s when I started driving as a teenager. And then the oil companies tried to cite an oil shortage. And so Jimmy Carter said, no. And so we went to rationing, and prices stayed the same. And of course, they were still selling the same amount of gas. They just made everybody's lives miserable by making them wait in line. You had to go on a day, either your license plate had an odd ending number or even ending number. So depending on what day, every other day, it changed. But it worked fine. I mean, but as soon as the rich had to wait in line with the poor, suddenly, there's no more shortage, and the prices didn't go up. I mean, they wanted to raise it a nickel a gallon, and, it's like Jimmy Carter put his foot down because he knows. See, that's what guys like JFK and Jimmy Carter know. They know how pernicious, how bad cost of living inflation is. And this chain reaction. One thing goes up that you can't get away from, like energy, like gasoline, then everything goes up. Food goes up because transportation costs go up. And then everybody's got to pay more rent. Everybody's got to pay more for everything. So you got to raise the wages, right? But we know which came first. The justification for a pay raise is that cost of living adjustment. is that your cost of living went up. It got driven up. You see how they create this chaos, this madness, selling the same amount of crap, but just making everybody's life miserable, making it difficult for the people at the bottom to even have enough. But other people, well, we'll buy more, we'll double down. We can afford to eat out, even though it's quadrupled in the last decade or so. I don't know. But I mean, prices, just buy a pizza. You're paying $20 for a large pizza, medium pizza, just a regular pizza. And that's, hey, well, I mean, you understand. Yeah, we do. That's the problem. We do. They've got us to understand that, yeah, well, it's not your fault. There's another source. It's coming. It's always another source. You can trace it, though. And the presidential policies in this case are what did it. Remember how it started up when we started saying, well, we're going to boycott Russian oil. And so all of a sudden prices started. So blame Russia. I want to blame Russia. Even though we don't know the full story over there. We don't hear about how Ukraine was going to join NATO and how they wanted to set up nuclear missiles, ICBMs on the border with Russia as a deterrent, And so you understand that Putin and Russia was under a lot of duress. Okay, and what kind of approval? Look up for yourself. Do your own research. Just don't be ignorant about it because there's a news blackout in America about it. But, and his approval rating is through the roof as far as I remember. So, I mean, people like him as a leader in his country. Look at our leadership. What is his approval rating? My attitude about the politicians, these leaders again, ought to be, hey, just like a landlord-tenant relationship so often you hear about, right? I watch a lot of court TV, these small claims courts. Less and less, I could just watch snippets of the beginning and the end usually now. It's just, I sometimes I think it's people just want to be on TV sometimes. I don't know. So let's set it up. Yeah, let's go on TV. Let's be, who knows what's going on. I can't believe all these people suing each other over a few bucks. I mean, where does the Lord's Prayer come in? Forgive us today. I mean, I could have sued people a couple times in my life. Hey, you know what? I'm let it go. It's their karma. I mean, they're going to pay one way or another. They would have wished I had sued them because now they're going to face something else. And they're going to, somebody else is going to really get them. In some other way, it's going to be a lot more costly probably. It's just the way it works. What goes around comes around, like they say. But I watch some of these. Some of them are interesting, dog bite cases and stuff like that. But car accidents, sometimes the way people try to weasel out of it when it's obvious that it's their fault. They lie through their teeth straight up right into the camera. But, landlord-tenant relationship, 1 year lease, and then it's month to month. And that's the way it ought to be with these politicians. Governor, mayor, city council, supervisors. 1 year, you get to prove you're serving the people. Make the mainstream media stay on them. We want to report. We want progress reports from all these politicians, these leaders, okay, how things are getting better for the people that need them to get better for them the most. Those living out on the street, let's start with. And then we move up from there. Then if you're poor, you start becoming middle class. That's what we want to see. That's progress. That's social economic progress. Fairness. Fairness is all I'm asking for. Am I such a bad man? Am I so freaking radical because I'm an egalitarian? I believe God's way is the right way. Fairness. It's God's planet. We're God's equally beloved children. What would you do if you were God and you had 8 billion children? Would you play favorites so they didn't respect you? Or would you say, share, get along with each other? You're born filthy rich. Enjoy. Get along. That's what I want. I want you to enjoy your life. And you can't do it if you're all stressed out and worried about your finances. Or if you can never get enough because you're so financially insecure because there's just so much evil, unnecessary, undue evil on the people at the hands of this evil entity we so innocuously call money. Oh, it's just money. I use it as a tool. Oh, I've heard it all. Yeah, you think if we haven't learned how to coexist with this crap, at this point in history, you're telling me, oh, well, give it another 1,000 years. I don't know. But don't rock the boat. Let's keep the status quo, the state of. Come on, come on. Somehow it all makes sense. Social Darwinism, I guess. We won't talk. I don't know. Survival of the strong. Don't talk about it though. That's what's going on here. Come on. Sick, perverted. You wonder why people are slashing their wrists, teenagers blowing their brains. They say, I see the writing on the wall. I was just born to be a rent slave to these people. I don't want to live in this world, this dystopia, ever growing dystopian future I